under the
You look
sea.
like a little mermaid.
I know. Well, we are going to be speaking with the esteemed Dr. Jose Jones, a marine biologist, and he's also one of the premier scuba divers in the world, actually.
All right, because if we're going under the sea, I need to be with a professional. It's scary. It can get scary down there.
Well, they say it's, the denizens of the deep. When they talk about the denizens of the sea, we got stuff down there.
All right, well, like you said, he's an esteemed doctor, so I'm all right with it.
Okay,
If
well,
it was just me and you, no dice.
all right, well, we're going to get with our
Under the sea.
under the sea. So stay tuned as you find out more about Dr. Jose Jones as the Veronica Harris show goes under the sea, under the sea.
Stay tuned.
And welcome back. Our guest is Dr. Jose Jones. Dr. Jose Jones has gone deep and wide in the marine world as a scientist, scuba diver, institution builder, and public servant. His vision, commitment to excellence, and dedicated leadership have enabled him to create opportunities for many other people to experience the wonders of the sea and expand their horizons. Dr. Jones's career as an educator and scientist spanned 37 years. For 25 years, he taught at the University of the District of Columbia as a professor of marine biology and environmental science. He also served as chairman of the Department of Environmental Science, dean for the College of Life Sciences, and provost and vice president of the university. Dr. Jones holds a master's degree from Howard University in aquatic biology and a PhD from Georgetown University in marine biology. He was a 3-time fellow of the National Science Foundation. As a Fulbright scholar, he studied marine biology at the University of Queensland in Australia and dove the Great Barrier Reef while he was there for 2 years. Dr. Jones began his diving career while serving in the U.S. Army. Returning home as a Purple Heart veteran from a tour of combat duty, Dr. Jones enrolled in college and joined the Atlantic Skin Diving Council, ASCD, where he served as vice president, training officer, spearfishing chairman, and a scuba rodeo director. While a senior in college, he formed the Underwater Adventure Seekers, UAS, of Washington, D.C. in 1959. UAS is one of the oldest dive clubs in the world, and it predates most national certifying organizations. As a master scuba instructor, Dr. Jones has amassed more than 6,000 dives in more than 50 countries where he has spread his message of swimming and diving safety. Dr. Jones is a spearfishing champion, a scuba rodeo champion, and an underwater photographer and videographer. Dr. Jones was inducted into the Washington, D.C. Hall of Fame in April 2005, and he was the recipient of the Haile Dan Rolex International Diver of the Year Award for 2005. He was also selected as Sport Diver Magazine Diver of the Year in 2008 and selected as Beneath the Sea Diver of the Year in 2009. Dr. Jones and his team have trained and certified over 2,000 divers free of charge. In 45 years, he has taught over 5,000 people, mostly children, to swim. His commitment to volunteerism comes from his belief that people who have something to give should give to others, whether it is knowledge, skills, or support. Dr. Jones is also a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo and also applies his standards for excellence and volunteerism to the martial arts. For 42 years, he has trained thousands of adults and children in the Washington, D.C. area free of charge. His commitment to a high standard for training can be seen in the confidence and tournament record of his students. The Wheel Kickers Taekwondo Club was featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not as the winningest martial arts school in America. It is not unusual for his students to be accomplished in both the martial arts and scuba diving. Dr. Jones's love for diving and swimming extends to family. Both his wife, Paula, and his daughter, Kendall, are swimmers and divers. Dr. Jose Jones serves as a role model and mentor for many people of all ages, creeds, and backgrounds. His leadership and standards for excellence have shaped many divers and emerging leaders.
That was a lot.
You know, most people, when I first got your information, and that was the condensed version. But when I got you, usually I have like a page, maybe a paragraph here or there. I had a whole dossier on you. Your CV alone weighed about a pound. So, I mean, and I'm sure that's still not everything you have done. But welcome, Dr. Jones.
Thank you.
Dr. Jones. So, there's so much to talk about. You know, who knows where to go, but
First things first. Someone has done so much, accomplished a lot. What's your daily routine? What you start your morning with what?
Stretching exercise.
Stretching exercise. See there? See there? So I am the world's fittest man, but I'm still looking for tips. So tell me what you do.
We do the typical martial arts yoga type exercise. Nothing ballistic.
Okay.
Just
Very
a stretching exercise.
very static.
Yeah, because the looser you are, the better you are at this.
Okay, now that we done got
Y'all
that out
at
the
home
way.
stretching first thing in the morning.
All
Pour
right.
your cup of Joe
All right.
Cup
So-
of yogurt.
and a cup of yogurt.
Now, let's get back to Dr. Jones and all the wonderful things that you have done. So, again, you're an educator. We're both educators. Your academics, where did you go to high school? That's what I want to know.
I'm a native Washingtonian,
Uh-huh.
so I went to Dunbar.
Okay, so you went to Dunbar. Okay, and then from there, you did your undergrad work. Because I know you did your graduate work, your master's
Yeah,
and your PhD.
I went to DC Teachers first.
Okay, which later became UDC.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
right.
then went overseas to Australia, then I came back. And then I went to Howard, then I went to Georgetown, then I went to Duke University. That wasn't on there.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, Duke University. What degree? What did you get at? What did you study at Duke University?
Marine biology.
Okay, and did you get another degree from Duke?
No.
You just studied this further.
I went down as a Natural Science Foundation fellow.
Okay, all right. So I want to talk about you going to the University of Queensland, and you said you did some graduate work there.
Yeah.
As well, because while you were there, you swam on the Great Barrier Reef. Well, you swam the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, we had a marine station there. I went down as a Fulbright scholar to study marine biology. And so the marine station for the university was on the Great Barrier Reef. So all the marine students had to go out there and spend time out there, being miserable in the nice tropical sun.
What's miserable about
blue
it?
ocean.
I mean, I've been
No,
to
I'm just
Australia,
joking.
and I've been to the Great Barrier Reef, and I
No.
was like, the first thing I said, I'm going to find Nemo. That was my.
No.
Didn't
No, just
find
being
him.
facetious. It was very lot of fish, a lot of good experiences.
Right, because I mean, I think one of the Great Barrier Reefs is one of the things that they show most when it comes to wildlife
Absolutely.
shows and documentaries, not only because of its vast diversity and the vastness of it, but also because it is, unfortunately, it's dying at this point, and they're trying to save it. And a lot of it, I guess, whether you believe global warming or not, has a lot to do with it. Has a lot to do with it. So, and I just think that is awesome that you were able to do that for 2 years. Now, you've also, you were director of a scuba rodeo. Now, when I saw that, I was like, what are we herding? What you say? You said herding dolphins?
Yeah. Wrangling dolphins.
Wrangling dolphins.
No, it's funny because even scuba divers don't know about scuba rodeo.
Okay, so why don't you educate us?
Each year and around the country they have what they call a scuba rodeo. The rodeo features the skills that divers learn.
Such as?
So, underwater navigation, races, swimming underwater races out to a point, turn around underwater, come back, make sure you end up in the right place.
Okay.
Assembling things underwater timed. They show you a picture. They give you the parts. You got to put it together real fast.
Like a few what's that? A Few Good Men.
Like a Lego almost, you know.
Yeah, but remember the movie? There was a Few Good Men.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and Cookie had to go
Ex-
underneath,
yeah.
and he had to do, and he wouldn't come up.
Same idea. We have the bag. They dump the bag. We go down there, 2 people, and we put it together. Everything is timed. And then the rodeo champion is selected by who has the greatest number of points at the end of the rodeo.
Did you know Cookie? I mean, I'm sure that's not his name, but they call him Cookie in the movie. Robert De Niro called Cuba Gooding's Jr. Character Cookie.
Carl Brashear.
You knew? So did you? Have you ever met him?
Oh yeah.
You know him?
Used to be our guest at the dive shows sometime.
Okay, awesome. Because
And when they did that picture in his hometown in Missouri, I was a master of ceremony at that particular showing.
oh, Oh, really? Awesome. Because I will admit, when my father, he's the one that brought you to my attention. When he first told me about you and what you did, I immediately thought about that movie.
Yeah.
And for me, I always like to put things in a historical context as far as what I know historically. I only knew of him as being a famous African American diver until I heard about you and read everything that you've done. And I would say you should have been in the movie.
Well, that's what he said too.
You should have been in the movie.
Yeah.
So wait, there's not a lot of African American divers?
No.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Why not?
Well, actually, at one time you could say that, but now there are a lot, the thousands, but mainly because of the Washington, D.C. Club. The Washington, D.C. Club is the founding club of the National Association of Black Scuba Divers.
And isn't that a club
And
that
that's
you
all,
co-founded?
yeah. I founded the Washington Club, and I co-founded the National Association. So now we have clubs all over the country. So in the National Association, we have almost 3,000 African American divers.
Wow.
It seems funny that for a while, I guess you would say that, it would be easy to say, oh, we didn't think that there were a lot of African Americans who were into scuba diving or just into water in general. When we look at our ancestry, where we come from, as descendants from Africa, which is a continent that's surrounded by water, and a lot of the ways that people made their living is by fishing.
Fishing, yeah.
Spear fishing, which
Right.
is something that you do,
Yeah.
and you're a champion at it. So when I think about spear fishing, I think about Castaway. But it takes a lot of skill.
Oh, yeah,
because
it does,
them
it does.
fish are shifty.
Well, they get smart,
They get
especially
smart.
the big ones.
The big one. Do they
That's
really?
why they're big, because they're smart.
Do they really? Because when you hear about people that go fishing and all the stories and they try to catch the one that's been out there for 10 years and stuff like that. Do you think? And I guess it's sometimes as humans we put our ways into try to put them on the animals. Do you think they really think like that? I know dolphins are very smart, but
The fish are smart too. You go down and you start spearfishing, all of a sudden all the fish disappear. The next time you go down there, as soon as you hit the water, they disappear. So they learn.
they learn.
They learn. You look over and they see Ralph, and all of a sudden Ralph is gone.
Ralph is gone.
Yeah. So they start saying, "Wait a minute, something wrong down here." So they get real smart real fast. So we've dissuaded the people from spearfishing. We're trying to take it out altogether around the world.
Okay. Because
For two
unfortunately-
reasons: they shoot the biggest fish, and they're the
Right.
ones that breed,
Right.
and they're shooting the fish that the divers are paying to come to see.
Oh.
So you can make way more money off of catering to the divers than you can shooting fish.
Speaking of diving, where are some of, because you dove around 5 of the 7 seas.
Yep.
So where would you say is one of some of the best places to dive?
Oh, well, that's a tough one. I always get this question. Where's the best place you ever dived? You made over 6,000 dives. If I had to pick one place, which I don't want to pick one place, but if I had to, I'd say Malaysia.
Ooh, okay. All
Followed
right.
close by Fiji.
Now, why Malaysia?
Biodiversity. There's
Oh.
everything there.
Even more so than Australia? Than around there? Because everything's in Australia. It'll kill you, but it's there.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Better. I mean, you don't see one of these. You see one barracuda, you see 500.
Oh, wow.
You don't see one turtle. If you don't see 20 turtles on every dive, it's a bad dive. You see one turtle, or 2 turtles, or 3 turtles in most places. There's a turtle. Over there, they're just everywhere.
Malaysia. Okay, we're going to put that on the bucket list.
What's the water temperature in Malaysia?
They're in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
All year
That's
long.
why it'd be my favorite place too then.
All right. Well, let me see if I can get one more quick question in here. I want to find out about, with diving, they always say, obviously you go down, but coming up, you have to go through that whole decompression process, or you get the bends.
Well, recreational divers do not make decompression dives.
Okay.
That's why you never hear about anybody getting the bends. Okay. Now, commercial divers or technical divers could stay down long enough to get the bends, but they know exactly how long to stay. They got all kinds of computers on their arms that tells them what to do. They got charts and tables, and so it's very unusual for somebody to get the bends. Now, in the military divers, maybe yes, because they're down a long time and they can't afford to come up. They got to stay down sometime. But recreational dive was planned from the very beginning. We're going to go down to 80 feet and we're going to stay 20 minutes and then we're going to, it's all planned. And so diving is very safe.
Okay.
You know, there's less than a fraction of 1% problems, you know, accidents. So it's very, very safe. It's safer than skydiving and things like that.
Put that on the bucket list. But hold that thought, because I know you about to say something. We have to go to a break, and as soon as we come back, we'll let you chime right in, okay?
All right.
All right, we'll be right back.
Sometimes I go down deep. So this is what you mean. This is how you feel. This is how you see.
Hi, and we're back with Dr. Jose Jones. You know what? I every time I think of your last name being Jones, I say Davy Jones's locker. As you can see, my mind, I'm going from the movies to the
Too many movies.
I do. So you had something to say, so go ahead.
Dr. Jones. So right before the break, you said it's pretty safe. All right, that's my first concern, my safety.
Because he's afraid of dying.
But now,
But who isn't?
I think I've heard somewhere that diving gets kind of pricey.
Yes. The equipment is expensive.
Okay.
And of course you got to go to the site to dive. The better sites are never close to home, you know that.
All right.
So you got to pay for that. That's why it's an advantage in belonging to clubs, because
Okay.
they're going with 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. When we went to South Africa or Cuba, a place like, we had 60 people just from the DC club alone.
Oh, you went to
And that-
Cuba?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So now you've pushed the price way down.
Okay.
But we buy equipment the same way. And the equipment is what costs, and you buy it piece by piece, because clubs have a lot of equipment anyhow. So you can just sign out the equipment until you get your equipment piece by piece by piece.
Okay.
So it's pricey.
Now, if I wanted to take my family on a dive,
Well,
how much am I looking at?
it depends on where you go. You want to go to a good place that's inexpensive with excellent food and nice people. Go to Mexico. We're very fortunate where we live that some of the best diving in the world is 2 hours from the U.S. I eat breakfast here and have lunch in Costa Rica.
Okay.
And so we got the whole Bahamas, all the Caribbean and Central America. So you don't have to go very far.
And Costa Rica is cheap.
Yeah, it's very
To
expensive.
go visit Costa Rica,
Yeah,
it is cheap.
So I'm
So
in
they're-
Mexico.
Oh, go to the U.S. Virgin Islands, or British Virgin Islands. And there's so many places that are very, very close and inexpensive. But there are places that are sort of pricey too. The further you go, the more airline tickets cost.
Now, just like going to Disney World, I don't necessarily like that because it's so overcrowded, too many people. Are there places where people dive that it's just like too touristy, like it's just too many people?
Yeah, well, we make sure we don't go to those places. So you got the whole world, see. Or if we go to those places, we seldom dive on the mainland.
Okay.
So if we're diving in Australia, we're not going to dive on the mainland. We're going to go out to the reef.
Right. So,
So
you
you-
gotta go off the beaten
We
track.
left all the people back in Sydney or Cairns or Brisbane or someplace.
Right.
So we're out on the reef. Same thing in Fiji. You know, we don't even dive on the main island. We're on the reef. Costa Rica, same thing. We don't dive on the mainland. We dive. Honduras, the same thing. The further you get away from the mainland, the fewer people you got, and the better the diving.
That sounds good. That's right up my alley. I like to go off the beaten path whenever I go out the country. You know, wherever if the group is going right, I'm going left.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go. So, what I want to get into now, something that's very interesting about. We want to talk about what you're doing now, as far as because you're still continuing to dive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you look good. You look well. You look
Thank
in
you.
shape.
You made my day.
And like Gregory said, you have to be very fit to be a diver. So, and you're currently diving. And what are you and your team looking for now? Because I hear something very exciting.
Well, we work with the Smithsonian. We work with the National Science Foundation. We work with NOAA. We work with the National Park Service, and they use our divers because we have more divers than they got put together. And our divers are trained in underwater archaeology too, so they use our divers. So we've been doing a lot of work in South Africa on the Sour Jose slave ship. That's the one you see exhibited in the new African American Museum. We're looking for a ship in Mozambique. We think we know where it is. We're very interested in that. I can't tell you the name of it, but anyhow. We're interested in that one because that's one of the few slave ships in the world where the slaves revolted before they ever got out of Africa.
Amistad. Is that what
Yeah. Then we got two ships in Florida, the Henrietta Marie, and the trying to think of the other one. Henrietta Marie is one. I'll think about the name. So there are 4 ships that we're working on right now. Then we pinpointed 2 in Senegal, Brazil, St. Thomas. We're working at St. Thomas, looking for one there. So we know where they are, as far as pointing them out on a map. But you're out there on the ocean, that's a different story.
It's a different story.
Yeah, different story altogether. So some of these ships take a long time to find.
Right.
And once you find them, you aren't sure that's the specific one until you get enough pieces of artifacts off of it to identify it as, yes, this is a pewter cup. I read it on the bottom, and I can find the name of the company. Then you go to, it all starts with going to the library. You go to the library and go to the archive and do all the paperwork first and narrow it down to the smallest area you can. Now it becomes a hunt.
Right, because I can recall, just not for that, but like for instance when that, I forget what flight it was that went down in the Pacific. I think it was a Malaysia.
Malaysia Airlines.
Malaysia Airlines, and it went down. And they were talking about the vast amount of area they had to cover, and they had to find it. So, and they would have to use people like yourself, like divers, to help pinpoint that and search that grid and everything.
Well, a lot of that is so deep that you have to use submersibles, side scan sonars, magnetometers, all kinds of fancy, and they still couldn't find it. That ocean is big out there.
You know, you don't realize how big the ocean is, and then when you big, this is how deep and everything that's going on under there.
That's one advantage we have. Almost all the slave ships are in shallow water.
Right. And what I wanted to say to you about that is, like, by you being able to find these different slave ships, you're actually able to pinpoint, like, where African Americans have, like, actually not just our history, but our travels, like where we ended up. Like, for instance, in Brazil, you know, there are a lot of people who don't want to claim that Africans were there, and that they or that they don't have African heritage, you know, is not a part of them. But by tracing these slave ships to where they started, to where they landed, okay, so this is where they landed, so this is where the people must have been, and stuff like that, you're able to definitively say, hey, these people were here, and these are the descendants of those people.
You're absolutely right, because the ship that they have, the artifacts they have in the museum now, came from South Africa, but that ship came from Mozambique. So, okay, so it sailed from Mozambique down to Cape Town, where it sank.
Okay.
It's been there forever. Now they're bringing up the artifacts. But that ship was bound for Brazil. See, so slaves didn't just come from West Africa, they came from East Africa too.
And then, like, it's amazing because there are, I mean, when you start talking about heritage and ethnicity, people will say, oh, no, I am not African. I'm not African American. I have no African. No, yes, you do, believe it or not. Some of your ancestors have come here, and this is how we know, because the historical record proves it. So that's very interesting. So you are definitely helping to prove just how far and wide we have, you know, we ventured out.
Well, they went, these slave ships went everywhere. They went to Europe, they went to China, They didn't just come to the New World.
Yes, and they went to China because I've heard where they said, they've had some historical records of black people in China, like Asians, Asians that look like, had features for Africans, and they would say, well, how did they get here, or what did they just show up? No, they came
Well,
here.
they certainly didn't catch a plane. That's obvious.
So,
they went on ships.
They went on ships.
No slaves in China.
Yeah.
They got there. Maybe they didn't stay slaves in China, but they got there, intermingled, married with the people, and now that you have
No, they didn't marry them people. They don't. Well, maybe. Hey, it says here, Dr. Jones, that you speak about careers in oceanography. You go visit school. What kind of careers?
Well, actually, they never have enough scientists. Period. So I'm always pushing the STEM projects. Trying to get more people, especially minority students, into science and technology and engineering and mathematics. And so we've been trying to push the marine sciences because there are very few marine biologists that are oceanographers that are minorities, any minority, not just African Americans or Chinese or whatever, in the United States, or Latinos, find that many. So we're trying to get more and more and more students in it because they need them. The jobs are there.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to school and finish school and still look for a job. So you don't have to look for a job in some of these things. The jobs are there. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, especially with the environmental. If you combine environmental science and marine biology, or let's say marine science in general, you got a combination that's guaranteeing you a job. But the environment is messed up, and so we're trying to clean it up, but you got to keep it cleaned up once you get it cleaned up. So there's a lot of jobs going to be in environmental jobs.
Yeah, but with the current, we don't really talk politics, but with the current politicians in there, they don't believe in the global climate change and the global warming and all the stuff that's changing with our stuff. So,
Well, my answer to them is just wait. Sooner or later, they'll realize it when they start sweating in December.
Yeah, well, Well, we are going to stop right here, and we have to go. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what is Veronica thinking. But Veronica is thinking we might need to talk more about this when we come back. So we'll be right back.
This is how you breathe. I know sometimes I go down deep. Beneath the deep blue sea, touching every breath, all the sleight of hand, for everything you left. Sometimes I know, sometimes I go down deep.
Hi, and welcome back. Now is the time for What is Veronica Thinking? And today I am thinking about it's not where you start, it's where you're at. And the reason why I say that is because our esteemed guest today, Dr. Jones, he was an orphan. And then you went to Dunbar, and then you went on to DC Teachers College, which is now UDC. You then went on to Howard University to get your master's. You went on to Georgetown University to get your PhD, and somewhere in there you went to Duke University as well. And you also, as a Fulbright scholar, you went down to the University of Queensland in Australia.
Right.
So, and did I miss any other academic achievement there?
That's about it.
And then along the way, you founded one of the oldest scuba diving organizations, and you are also a 7th degree black belt. and Taekwondo. You have trained over 5,000 divers. You have trained over 2,000 of them free of charge, and you've had over 6,000 dives yourself. In addition, you've always also been into the military. You got a Purple Heart. You were awarded the Purple Heart. So you have done so much in your life that, you know, it probably when you started, someone might have said, oh, I don't see this for you. Or could you have imagined when you were young as an orphan saying that this is what I'm going to be later on?
It's funny you should ask this because everything I've ever tried, there was somebody saying you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, and you won't do it. There's always somebody, but there's also equal number of people say, you're smart, just hang in there. I had one advantage, I might have been an orphan, but I had fantastic foster parents.
Right.
And they push education. You got to be twice as good to get half as much. That's how we were raised. So you get the education, the rest will come. So we went to school. You didn't get sick. You know, so you sick, you got a cold, go to school, cough on somebody else, but you're not gonna cough on me. And so we went to. I never missed a day in school.
He didn't either.
The same thing in the university. I never missed a class. I never missed a day. Even at work, I never took a day leave. I never took a sick day. That's just the way we were raised. So
not like those NBA players who want to rest. 82 games, they talk about rest.
Yeah, we were just raised that way. So we knew that the key to success was education. We were taught that from J High.
And being there, being available. Like they said,
absolutely.
you know, the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
So, and you are definitely the epitome of all of that. So when it comes down to what is my thing, it's like, you know what? It's not where you start. It's where you go.
That's right.
It's where you go.
And that's, I tell the students that all the time. You know, I say that doesn't make a difference where you start, it's where you end up that counts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anything you want to add in our last couple seconds here? Look at that.
To get there, you got to have a routine.
Oh.
So start your morning with some yoga and some stretching, like Dr. Jones do.
All right. Well, I think that is a great way to end it. High five to you on that one. Give me a low. All right. Thank you, Dr. Jones.
My pleasure.
You got to come back because we want to put on equipment.
Only 10 minutes away from here. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And you've been watching the Veronica Harris Show, and we'll see you next time.